internet. Coming to us.
I ain't seeing nothing.
Coming to a.
Are you able to see anything
Coming
yet?
to a live. Nope. Coming to a
there we
live
go.
Facebook. Coming live to you. Coming to a.
There we go.
Coming live. Coming live. Facebook. Share. Come on. We will be live. We will be live real soon. We will be live on Facebook, live on YouTube. We will be live. Are we live?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, we will be live. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. We just go ahead and getting things shared and getting things started. We will be live. We will be live. Got a lot to talk about. A lot of things happening in the community. We will be live.
Okay, I'm ready.
Joe said he ready. I guess I'm still trying to get ready.
Okay, it's all yours whenever you're ready.
Go ahead, the
We
music.
will be live. We will be live.
The music. Where's that music coming from?
Are we live?
You are. Do you need more time? I can blast
No.
it.
If we live, we live. Hey, everybody, we live. I guess we live.
Ah, there you go.
We
there
live.
You
Oh, yeah. I hope everybody's having a very fabulous Wednesday. It's nice outside. For a lot of our kids, it's the first day back in school. Hey, can we get that door shut? If we can, please. Thank you. But yes, I definitely want to, just have people please pay attention to our young ones out there as they're getting on and off buses. Parents, please have a little bit of patience because as we know, that first, week or two of school, school buses are late picking up kids, dropping off kids. Some kids mistakenly get on the wrong bus. It's nothing intentional, I'm sure, on either part. But have patience. Children, watch as you're crossing streets and, things of that nature. Please be safe. Please be safe. Watch out for our kids. We have too many incidents involving our kids, whether that's one way or the other. We're just having too many tragic incidences regarding our kids out here. But we definitely want them to have a very fabulous year. I got a couple grandkids that, one in fourth grade, another one, I believe, in the seventh grade. So, yeah, man. So, again, have a fabulous school year. But, again, before we get started, there's a lot of stuff that we have to talk about, but we got to kind of, get you shared with that famous backpack and some other things that we have to kind of go through.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk About It. We're here every week from 4 to 5, as you know. This show we started to help our campaign process. My campaign process allows me to get a chance to get to know you, and you a chance to get to know me. We ask that you chime in either through internet, phone call, or direct messages so that we can respond to any questions. We ask that everybody respect everyone's questions. As you know, there's no wrong question. We do our best to try to answer them all. As always, we start, middle, and end our show with the backpack. That backpack consists of making sure you have your driver's license and insurance with you before you enter that vehicle. Make sure you place them above the visor so they're easily accessible. So if stopped by law enforcement, they won't be mistaken for a weapon. Remember to stay calm, let the officer go through the spiel, and as always, make it home to your loved ones. Same thing when you're walking down the street. Make sure you got your driver's license ID with you. Make sure you stay calm. Keep your hands where they can be seen. Allow the officer to go through the spiel. And as always, make it home to your loved ones.
Got to make it home. Got to make it home. As Joe indicated, this is a platform, for his grassroots campaign for Hennepin County Sheriff. However, as we've stated before, and we will continue to state this, he cannot do this alone. It is imperative that you get involved in your community, however that looks for you. But it is imperative that you get involved. You see something, say something. The safety issues that we are seeing here in Minneapolis and just across the country as a whole, if you will, it's not just a law enforcement issue. It's a community issue. We get to talking about sometimes how we don't favor the police, or there was talk previously about defunding the police and all this other type of crazy stuff, right? But if that's indeed the case, then we need to start doing a lot better job at policing ourselves. Bottom line, and we welcome our viewing and listening audience to chime in. Come on in, come on down if you want to be part of the show. If you want us to bring the show to you, please let us know, and we will definitely be hitting you with phone numbers and other contact information as the show goes along. But just to kind of jump right on in there, man, I definitely wanted to talk about the shootings that are kind of happening, very frequently here. And some of the most recent, if you will, is obviously the two incidences that happened out there at the fair.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yes. I will say this here. I was highly disappointed in the secured stage area, that they had when they gave the press release about the first shooting that happened inside the fair. Mm-hmm. You had quite a few individuals there that was from BCA, the chief of the state fair,
Commissioner of Public Safety, the governor.
Yep, all of them individuals. And there was a lot of questions being asked by the media, but very few questions was actually being answered appropriately.
Right.
I was just highly disappointed. And again, that just kind of falls right in line with what we've been talking about, this go along to get along.
Lack of
this
transparency.
Old playbook.
Yeah, that lack of, I think for me it was great that Sheriff Bob Fletcher from St. Paul, Ramsey County Sheriff, he came out. It was so simplistic, very understandable, extremely clear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play by play, if you would, of what took place, kind of what went down. And even though there wasn't an arrest made during the process, you felt more informed,
educated, empowered to be able to kind of want to return, back to the fair. So, and that was the second part, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Mr. Bob Fletcher, thank you for standing up, and being inside the fair with the people, on his little broadcast that he had. This was not timed, type of Channel 4, whatever kind of news thing that he was doing. He did this on his own because he knows how important and how vital it is for the people to have, firsthand information.
Correct.
And again, Mr. Fletcher, thank you. And if if I was still looking to be the police, type of person between, honestly, you and Joe is a type of individuals that I would want, to work for. So I'm sure that your deputies are proud, and if they're not, they should be proud to be working for you. Just as when Mr. Joseph to my left get in there, I don't know, I just might have to throw back on that uniform.
I could only hope to be as great as Bob has done such a great job over there in Ramsey County. And this year, he's nice enough to not to worry about running opposed this year.
Absolutely.
That speaks volumes for the job that he's done.
Absolutely.
So kudos to Sheriff Bob Fletcher over in Ramsey County.
Yes, yes, yes. I've heard here recently that there is kind of a little bit of a gang war, kind of going on over in St. Paul, between a group called the GDs, where everybody kind of know the GDs. They've been kind of around for a while, if you will, and then some group called Ham Crazy. Ham Crazy, and then I think that there's another little group in there that's supposed to be involved is the Selby Boys.
Okay.
Okay. And they've been just kind of over there, being a little bit active, and not on a positive level, if you will. I understand that one of the higher ranking gang members from the GDs, got shot. I believe recently there was like four or five individuals that was shot at a house, and three or three of them passed away, and two of them was seriously injured. And from my understanding, I believe one of those was supposed to be, one of those high-ranking gang members.
Okay.
Again, I guess some of that is still kind of, up in the air, or kind of being questioned, or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, St. Paul has been fairly active, over there recently. And again, we just really want to, just give our condolences to the friends and families, of all victims, no matter where you're at, within our country. We have way too much gun violence, out here. I know that we just, we recently had another shooting that was, over off of Broadway and Lindale.
Oh, yeah.
At the Murrans.
Yeah, my daughter's friend actually was one of those victims. She was shot 4 times while trying to enter the Murrans liquor store.
Right.
So it sounded like all 4 were people that were shot, were innocent victims in the area. 2 transported to North Memorial and 2 transported to Hennepin County Medical Center. So, yeah, it's one of those deals where we really got to keep our head on a swivel, be careful when we're out and about, paying attention to what's happening on around us. I got quite a few phone calls over the weekend and throughout the start of this week about that particular area of town. I got a lot of inboxes from people just concerned about what are the intentions moving forward to handle areas like that and the winter gas station.
Yeah.
So, and so, I know people have concerns about that. We're going to be working with the community and law enforcement through a collaborative effort to try to get more patrol in that area, to try and talk with Minneapolis about what it looks like to trying to get some of those lurking and loitering laws back up and going, even if it's temporarily. I mean, we don't need to wait until I'm actually sheriff, if someone's listening, right, to implement those things. We like to keep people safe over there. But those high-impact areas we try to draw the attention to.
Well, you talk about, talking to Minneapolis and getting more patrol and so on and so forth. Well, I thought that's what, the 400,000 or whatever check that they wrote for the state patrol. That's one of the areas that they're supposed to be providing extra patrol for on weekends or whatever it was, for 6 hours or whatever it is a day. And, again, I guess my point that I'm trying to make here is it extra patrol that's needed, or is it, services that needs to kind of come, from the city to work with, not only these businesses, but also work with the community members in this community. You had stated a couple weeks ago that you had spoken with various residents, that was scared to kind of walk the Cub, or kind of scared to walk or just do business in those areas because they're afraid to get accosted or in certain this situation getting shot at Merwin's, and you're not even involved in this stuff. So I think that the city needs to step up and provide resources to this community, because I mean, we just hired this safety manager, and he has a hefty price tag that has kind of come along, with him, with his position.
Right. Right.
So what is he or they or whomever, doing?
Yeah, the question is, how do we get people involved right away? Because I mean, we can't even really wait now on the election. We need something. We need a right now plan. The bodies are starting to pile up. The victims are starting to pile up. The citizens are just in complete fear right now of trying to, even go to the grocery stores. Those folks that are standing out there that are, catching the bus, going back and forth in that area where the bus is directly in line of that place. It's just really tragic that, we're not getting more visibility from the community in terms of coming out.
Right.
And protest in that area a little bit more, and even from the city patrol, county, state, and sheriff, we're not seeing the patrol that we need to have over there to deter folks from wanting to be out there hanging out. So, I would like to see just a little more patrol. When I say patrol, I don't mean like 35 miles an hour past the corner and we patrolled it. I mean slow down. Maybe go through the parking lot, even put the car in park occasionally, get out, right?
Well, they got bike patrol, they got foot patrol.
Yeah.
They got, when I was on, we did business checks. I mean, I don't know, if they still have like the Broadway Lindale Business Association.
Pop in, talk
beat.
to the businesses, ask them, hey, are you guys okay? Are these guys hanging out here okay? Do you need to move? Just presence is everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, I will also say this here. It's not just the police. We have to have the business owners. We have to have community members. We have to have a lot of these nonprofits that are, that can receive some of the $7.5 million, that the safety manager was recently talking about, and that he's hoping to get a lot more, feedback and data on as far as how this money is being spent, the outcome, et cetera, et cetera. Again, $7.5 million, was issued to nonprofits, entities last year, and we had the highest crime rate on record in the city of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so again, I know that all of it wasn't for public safety, but I'm sure that there was some for mental health and some other stuff. But again, all of these services and resources, is services that are needed, in the community, and not only just that particular area on Lindale and Broadway, I mean, within the city of Minneapolis or within Hennepin County in general, we need, these services.
I mean, the question I have, and there's a good chance maybe I missed it, but where is this safety plan that's supposed to be unveiled? Where is that community safety plan? And what stage are we at in terms of, deterring crime? Because I haven't seen it. Maybe it's out there. I've heard about the safety plan in some of these meetings. I just haven't seen it yet.
Well, I guess my question would be is who is supposed to be putting a safety plan together?
Okay.
Because, and again, how does that look? Because, we just recently found out today that I knew prior to that there was multiple, individuals that was running for the city of Minneapolis, police chief.
Right.
And now we come to find out that the two have moved on, and the two that have moved on, neither one of those, is the current interim chief, who's been with the city for quite some time. That some folks, felt that, given the circumstances, that she was doing a fairly decent job.
Yeah, and can we pull up that quick, the finalists for the Minneapolis police job quick? Can we throw it on the screen?
So I mean, so then when we get to talking about a public safety plan and so on and so forth, who's writing it, who's putting it together, how does it look, what does that follow-through look like? Because we know when an individual kind of comes in, to those type of seats, they like to kind of put their stamp of approval, on it, And so and I guess the two individuals that seem to have moved on, I guess I've never really heard of any one of these names, being bounced around throughout the city in my time of serving as, police or anything like that.
Sorry, Joe. Who are we looking for?
We're looking for the finalists in the Minneapolis police chief
Running. So, so again, I guess, we seem to be having a lot of new pieces, in regards to a lot of new city council that just got, elected. This new city safety manager. I'm not for sure exactly what his title is.
Mr. Alexandria.
What?
Is his name Alexandria?
I don't know what his name is. It might.
I'm sorry. I think it's Dr. Alexander.
Okay. All right. Well, but he's new to the puzzle.
Yes.
And now we're gonna have a new police chief, or I don't know if they're gonna be a police chief or if they're gonna be a commissioner or exactly what title or position that he or she is going to be having, because again that was one of former Chief Arredondo's issues, is that he was talking about that he didn't want to have 9 different bosses,
Right.
having to answer to city council. So, who is this person going to be answering to? Is it going to be city council? Is it going to be the mayor? I mean, so there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that still is open, bro.
All right. So here are our 3 finalists in the Minneapolis running for police chief. I will say that I'm shocked that acting chief Huffman, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Was not selected to move on in the final 3. So that's unique.
Very much so.
Very unique.
I see 2 in uniform there, and I don't know. It doesn't appear that any one of those patches that I'm familiar with is from Minnesota. They seem to be out of state.
Correct.
I could be wrong, but it doesn't appear that they're within the state of Minnesota, which that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, but at the same time, when we're talking about more of that immediate fix, we need someone there that kind of knows what's kind of going on, the issues and the causes and effects of what's kind of going on right now. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my insight on that there. But again, we just recently found out this information, so I would definitely love to get an opportunity to dive a little bit more into that, to see what their background is, what their bio is, and kind of see whom they think, feel, and believe would be the best candidate.
It says Barron is from Detroit, a suburb of Detroit. O'Hara is out of Newark, New Jersey, and Brackney is out of Charlottesville, Virginia.
Okay. So we got
Well, there you go.
New York, Virginia, and what was the other one?
Charlottesville. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's Detroit.
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 Okay. All right. Well, hey, I don't know. I know Detroit, is a very challenging city, as far as crime is concerned. I guess I'm not, familiar with the other 2. Again, I don't know. I guess I'm going to kind of hold, my thoughts and opinions at this point in time on whom I think, might fall in there to be the best qualified candidate. But again, I do think it's kind of a slap in the face, if you will.
Yeah.
That the current, interim chief is not in that final running.
I think to some degree you're right, because the internal politics of that department are already such that there's a lot of chaos. I don't know that this will necessarily provide them with the jail needed to bring a even unstable department cohesively together. granted, crime is similar in every state, but I think in terms of knowing the pieces that you need to grab to put together that working, functioning leadership in the city to hit the ground running, it's going to be pretty unique to see. And coming in as the new sheriff, that's going to play a big dynamic part with being able to get things done, because where will the leadership actually stand with their subordinates?
Absolutely.
Folks willing to go out and throw themselves in harm's way on behalf of a built trust and years of service. So
Yeah. And I do know that even when the city of Minneapolis went out outside of the city before and hired a chief, that chief was only here like about a year and a half, before he, fled and went to Texas.
now, was that Olson?
No. That was I can't even think of his name, but he was well liked. Honestly, in the department, he did some pretty decent things. When he was here, with the city of Minneapolis, and I can see his face. But he went took a chief job down in San Antonio, Texas.
I guess my question is, what stopped Huff from making the cut? I thought she's currently the acting chief, so she's shown that she has the ability to perform the job. What would have put her not in the running? And in the last forum that we had that she was in, she did indicate that she wanted to stay with Minneapolis. She did put in the application, and she's currently in the role of acting chief now. So what has changed the dynamics?
Well, I think that we had kind of talked about this before, and sometimes just because you're currently in that spot, does that spot means that it's still the best for you? Because some folks may feel and believe that you're still part of that same regime.
True.
True. And some folks feel that we may need to moving in different direction.
But see, here's my thing of it is as the mayor and even the commissioner of public safety, I would have kind of said, listen, I would have told you up front that we're going outside, versus putting you in a position where you're publicly saying, here's what you intend to do moving forward. And you know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying, but this is what I'm gonna say to that. If they'd have done some stuff like that there, I'm gonna say one word: lawsuit. I can't. I don't think that that they're able to basically say that we're going to hire from without, and we're not even going to take any type of look at you, even though that you're qualified and so on and so forth. I would think that would be some form of a lawsuit of discrimination of some kind, and the city of Minneapolis is famous for paying out money.
Yeah, because I'm wondering, what did that conversation look like with her and Jacob Pry? Like, did Jake say, hey, listen, we need you to stand in here, hold the fort down, well, we're going to keep looking type deal, or did anybody assure her? Because, in that application process, I'm sure, I guess at that forum that we were at, I was under the impression that, this is pretty much, because if you look at what's going on, they started making personnel changes under her command, put it that way. Mm-hmm. And so from a chain of command standpoint, you begin to wonder then, okay, I've moved up, I've been promoted, now I've made some moves. Where does that leave the chain of command? You know what I'm saying? It kind of leaves them out there hanging, because now your deputy commanders don't know if they're in place anymore. Mm-hmm. Right,
absolutely.
So that's a concern, and it's a unique concern. I just was shocked to find out that, Well,
it obviously, as we can sit here all day, and it seems like we have a whole lot more answers. A lot more questions than we have answers, right?
Yeah.
Because I would even ask, why would these three be willing to leave where they're from, and kind of come here to Minneapolis, kind of where we're at ground zero, if you will,
right.
And deal with some of the things that is happening here in Minneapolis. Now, I understand that, crime is happening everywhere, but we know, especially for those that are kind of born and raised here, like myself, and are those that have kind of spent some time here, 20 plus years, you kind of know that things have definitely shifted, within the last 3 or so years here. And most people are trying to get out, not come in.
Definitely some shakeup. We'll be looking forward to seeing what happens with that as we move on, and with Minneapolis PD to see exactly what happens with that. So,
but I will say this here, and I think this is the time, that the community members, need to get involved. They need to contact, city council. They need to contact the mayor. They need to contact whomever it is that you need to contact, and get involved. So then, therefore, the individual that's going to be the leader of the city of Minneapolis, for those especially who live and work and things of that nature there, this is a time to get involved. So then, therefore, you can have some say.
I'll tell you what, and I don't want to beat a horse, but I'm hoping that because I saw that there was a lot of pushback on the Khalid El-Amin thing over at North High School. So if we can get that type of support, I would be excited to see folks come out and voice their opinion about how they felt about Ms. Huffman and just see where the community stands on that. As I always say, the people is the ones who make the decision. So I'm going to say it today. If you really support the home team, let's see you come out. Let's see you come out.
And I would, I would agree with that. But I'm also going to take it a step further, since you didn't throw it out there. Since you didn't have to open up the door, you know what I'm saying? I'm sitting here trying to be PG, if you will. But, I honestly believe, that there's a racial component behind this.
Okay.
I believe that, that in a lot of different positions, within the city of Minneapolis, they're thinking, feeling, and believing, that if you're a person of color, that you are the best suited for the position. I mean, I've even seen it in our sports, and not just, North High. I mean, because they were both, people of color, but, even with the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, it's still a lot of, question there, I guess, if you will. And the only thing I can say is, again, I strongly encourage, especially those who are living in the city of Minneapolis, to get involved, however that may look, to ensure that the best qualified candidate is going to be your leader, moving forward for the next, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, it's important. The people should come out and let their voices be heard. As like I always said, the power is with the people. We hear about it when things don't go right. This is your chance now to have a say. So don't sit on the sidelines. Get involved. This is your public safety. You heard it here first. If you want to get a chance to know who's going to be representing our community as a leader in the city of Minneapolis Police Department, make sure that you're getting out there, voicing your opinion to your city councils, your ward members, and all that good stuff. But definitely get the word out and take a close look at everybody that's signed up and have a say. Remember, no vote is a vote.
Absolutely. But here's a little sidebar. You just may, be working with one of those three.
Oh yeah.
That's up on was up on the screen.
Well, I definitely will be working with one of them. I don't know which one it is. Uniquely enough, that's what makes me such a great candidate, because I'm able to work with anyone. And I'm sure that these folks will have a dynamic plan that we'll be able to work on to bring community safety together with the community, right? Because we need that collaborative effort from the community. And My safety plan includes 80% of the community being involved to fix this because that's what we need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really, honestly, man, I'm really looking forward to that community piece. That we've been, diligently working on, heavily talking about. Definitely putting things together. I definitely plan and look forward to, being heavily involved in that. Just so then, therefore, I can ensure, in addition to yourself and the rest of the staff, getting that information out,
Yes, yes.
kind of in live time, if you are real time, if you will, and being able to get out and identify, these problems and concerns and be able to provide the resources, to, just the county of Hennepin overall. And again, which one of those three individuals, will get the chief spot and the other chiefs for the other, 35 or 36 cities. I'm really, really, looking forward to it.
Me too, and I want to thank Acting Chief Huffman for the stepping in that lane. We know that it's a hard deal to take, is to step in there knowing that there's a good chance that it could mean a promotion in and up, but it also could mean a promotion in, up, and out.
Right. And I will say this here. I've had the opportunity to, work alongside and work up under, her supervision. And I just found her to be, and still find her to be, an outstanding person, one that's going to do the right thing, for the right reasons. And whether that's, for the community and or for her officers, she's going to try and make sure that she does the right thing. So I wish her well, as she either continues to stay with Minneapolis or some other, better position, kind of comes along, because she definitely has the resume, to do some, bigger and better things if she chooses, to do so. Well, man, we are definitely, at that halfway mark, and
Okay.
we got to kind of inform the people.
All right, all right. Well, at that halfway spot, we're going to hit you with that backpack. That means making sure that you have your driver's license and insurance with you before you enter that vehicle. Make sure you place them above the visor so it's stopped by law enforcement. You don't get confused for having a weapon. Make sure you stay calm. Let the officer go through the spiel. And as always, make sure you make it home. Same thing if you're walking down the street. Make sure you got your driver's license or ID with you where it's easily accessible. Remember to keep your hands where they can be seen. Stay calm. Allow the officer to go through his spiel. And as always, make it home to your loved ones.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know if we already did it, but I'm going to do it again if we already did. If you want to put your bracelet up in the air, I apologize. I don't have mine on today. But we just recently, what was that, Saturday? Saturday?
I think it was Saturday, yeah.
I think it was, Saturday. We did a birthday celebration, balloon release, for, Brother KG's granddaughter. And again, he is he's a close friend. He's like a brother, to the both of us. And we just want to ensure that, we continue to say her name. We want to continue that we keep her name alive out there until we get justice, for Anaya. Again, both of us being grandfathers, both of our granddaughters sharing the same name. Both of our, granddaughters pretty much being the same age, et cetera, et cetera. It really, kind of hit home, in addition to, just several years prior, my aunt, was killed in a similar manner, just several blocks away, So, again, my condolences to, Brother KG, and his family and friends. Man, it's just a tough deal. I do believe, and I will say this here, is that this man has done what he has done, for the city of Minneapolis and even St. Paul for the number of years that he has done. And there's no one that has come forward, to say anything about Ayana's murder. And I know that someone out there knows who was involved or who did the shooting.
Yeah, and there's still a $85,000 reward out there, I believe. And also, if you got information that could lead to the arrest or conviction of an individual, make sure you're calling Crime Stoppers or Minneapolis Violent Crime Division.
Absolutely. Again, our viewing audience, please chime in, call in, text in, whatever it is that you might want to talk about. Again, this is a platform not only for Joseph Banks as he is seeking candidacy for Hennepin County Sheriff, but it's also a platform for you to get to kind of know Joe, for Joe to kind of get to know you, and you to be involved. Because again, the Hennepin County Sheriff, he responds to you. And that's why we chose to run independently, independent party, because we are not pushing any other agenda in any other way. Really quick, I know that this is kind of off subject, but I could not help but to pay attention when we were up at the balloon release birthday celebration. I went into the local store, and I think that was like Super USA or whatever it is up on 36th and Penn.
Quick Stop or something like that?
No, not a Quick Stop. It was like Super USA or whatever. Anyway, it's the little convenience store up there. Mm-hmm. And I could not help but to look at all of these unhealthy, items, food items, mm-hmm. That they had in the store, just full of sugar and carbs and, dyed drinks. And I mean, it was just absolutely incredible.
Snacktopia.
Man. and then it was the pricing, bro. I don't know if you remember the bag of chips that was typically $99. It was like the mid-size bag. Bro, that bag was $2.69. And then I mistakenly picked it up.
Yeah.
Until I saw that price. And when I picked it up, half of it's air.
Yeah.
I mean, it was insane. I mean, I hurried up and put that bag of chips back before, But man, I guess where I'm going with this, and I'm not here to pick on, that corner store, because its prices is kind of going up everywhere, for food and all this other type of stuff. But, these are the type of snacks and the type of foods that, we spend a lot of food stamps and stuff on, and things of that nature, just even cash and stuff. And we allow our young ones, to eat this. Mm-hmm. And this is causing, our young ones to be overweight or just to kind of be unhealthy, yeah. Having cavities and, things of that nature. So I guess my point is people, please, 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 pay a little bit closer attention to, what we're feeding our kids. I know that, the candy and the gum and the chips and all that other type of stuff are good, tasting, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's good, for them. So please, please, please pay attention to some of that stuff. It's just, I don't know, it's just kind of crazy to me.
Yeah, and like you said, you're proper with the price. The price is a little bit extreme, and they have just tripled themselves in the last few months. What those prices are out there.
Yep. So I did not have, unfortunately, a lot of stuff. I do want to talk about the incident that then happened in Ohio. And so if we can kind of pull up that video that then happened in Ohio, where
that's the one with the young man was sleeping.
Yes, yeah, another one that was sleeping, and he had what they're stating was a vaping pen or vaping cigarette or whatever, in his hand. Two individuals were already kind of taken into custody as they first opened up the door or gained access into the unit, but this individual was sound asleep in a back bedroom. And just as soon as they opened up the door, one of the officers, that was a canine officer, 30 years of experience, had his dog, in his left hand, controlled with his left hand as much as he could, and then had his weapon in his right hand. And as the door swung open, various commands was being given. Obviously, it's another situation to where this individual obviously is disorientated, not given the full opportunity to comply, with the commands. The officers, even in the video, state, stop resisting. He's pulling away. As this dude is basically, laying there fighting for his life, and end up passing away within the hour, at the hospital.
Mm. Yeah, that's tragic, man. Like I say, it's tragic, and I mean, even with all that training experience, you still have to give people the time to acknowledge your presence. Inherently entering buildings, establishments where people are considered to be either armed or dangerous. We have been teaching cops for years to make sure you have cover.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
To ensure that provides you with time to take a clear look before you pull the trigger.
Right.
And it appeared, looking at that video, that the officer had some kind of cover because he had the door that kind of bladed him as he entered the room. And I just think that it was a bad shoot.
Yeah. And I know that the chief had given a brief press release, and I know that some folks felt that she was attempting to kind of cover up or kind of make an excuse, I guess was more the correct term, make an excuse for the officer's actions, by indicating that when the gentleman rose, he had an object, in his hand, or an item in his hand. And again, even if he had a gun in his hand, it is not illegal at that point in time for him to be in a possession, of that firearm, unless they knew, that he was some type of prior felon and he wasn't supposed to be involved in possession. So we're just going to kind of quickly kind of look at the video here real quick.
Department arrested 2 people and then continued to look for Lewis. They pushed open a door where Lewis sat up on the bed and was almost immediately shot. We've frozen the video just before the shooting when police say Lewis appeared to raise his hand toward officers with something in it. Next to the bed, police say they later found a vape pen. Lewis was placed in handcuffs and later died at the hospital. The police chief recognizing the dangerous split-second decisions officers must make.
It is my job to hold my officers accountable, but it's also my job to offer them support and make sure that I give that to them through the process.
But Lewis's family calls his killing senseless, saying 3 white officers accompanied by an aggressive canine dog shot an unarmed 20-year-old in cold blood as he sat up in his bed,
his body's forward,
police commands.
His balance would have allowed him the chance to, he would have had to push back, body mechanics, right, to even get his hands up and forward. That was a bad shoot.
Well, and I can definitely agree and concur, with the police chief. Yes, you do want to hold your officers accountable. You do want to kind of, be supportive, but at the same time, we just have to stop reading from the same old script.
I mean, holding them accountable is one thing, all right, and supporting them is one thing too. But I guess what do you have to do? Convince yourself that what your eyes is seeing is different. I mean, we still have the ability to have the time to give ourselves that cover. Um, what was wrong with disengaging here, right? If you feel you didn't have cover there, bag out, send the dog.
Well, Police 101,
You know,
it's time and distance
Yep.
is always on our
Disengage.
side.
So I mean that right there, um, yeah, I just thought it was a bad situation. Again, one hand planted flushly on the bed, the other one in a backward direction. So I gotta believe that he was bringing his hand up. It was because he was saying,
Show me your hands, put
"Yep,
your hands up,
right."
things of that nature.
So
And you're not hearing that just from one person, you're hearing that from multiple officers. Again, you got a dog barking,
where was the threat? Where was the threat? You know what I'm saying? Where was the threat?
absolutely. I think I would agree with you. I'm not in agreement, with that being a good shoot. I hate to see an officer, a 30-year veteran, kind of throw his 30 years of service, down the drain like that there. But I do hope that the family is able to get justice, behind
Yeah.
us.
He definitely got it wrong there. And unfortunately, as tragic as it is for both the police department and the family, we have to admit he got it wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have to admit that.
And again, I would hope also that the police chief would later come back and say, after further investigation, it is revealed X, Y, and Z, and however she's going to put that, but just acknowledge,
Yeah.
that this was not a good shoot.
Yep.
But again, that's kind of remain to be seen, right? Remain to be seen. But these type of situations, occur, way too often.
And let's be clear too that we do put officers through a lot of scenarios of shoot don't shoot training,
Absolutely.
right? So these are not confrontations where the officers have had absolutely no training in, right? These are situations that officers have had countless hours of shoot don't shoot, where people have been appeared to be hostages, but the guy didn't actually have a weapon, where the guy popped out at you and he doesn't have anything, right? So, I mean, of course, we're human. We won't get it right every time, but we have to at least admit that we got it wrong when we get it wrong.
Now, I would like to see or hear or come to know if this was the individual that they were looking for. I know they were there serving some type of felony warrant. What I like to see if this was the individual that they were actually looking for. Not that would make any difference, because that still doesn't have any bearing on the shooting itself. But but again, it would just kind of continue to kind of perpetuate the things that we're kind of seeing, way too much of.
Yeah, I really think the officer had enough cover to handle that situation. Even if he bagged out a little more, the individual would at least had to leave the bed, come out to the edge of the room. You had the ability to disengage further and still provide yourself with cover.
And even if if they had to disengage, at least from the view that we saw, there did not appear to be any type of window or anything else, that he was able to jump out of, get out of, or anything like that there. So you didn't have anything but time.
Yep.
Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we are not here to bash the police or anything like that there. Of course, it's a lot easier, for us to, Monday night quarterback a Sunday afternoon game. But, you're talking to two individuals, or you have two individuals here that are talking, with over, 30 years, or more of police experience, between the two of us. And, we know, what it is that we're kind of looking at. And I think that we're both in agreement that that was just not a good shoot.
No.
That's not a good shoot.
Unfortunately, no.
And again, condolences to that family and friends of that young man. There's definitely going to be a void in that family. There's going to be a void in that community, even in that complex. It's tough, man.
It is. It is in a time when police are now still even more highly scrutinized. It just makes it that much harder for the department to establish trust in the community and continue to do the job that they're trying to do in an already tough situation. Unfortunately, the actions of that one officer will be seen as the actions of the department as a whole, and will be looked upon as an organizational issue.
And I think it's going to even, because it's already been on national TV. They're talking about this nationally. So, this type of stuff is going to be seen, all over. And even the next, officer here in the metro area here in Minnesota, it is going to be, scrutinized, and stuff like that there. And God, I don't know. It is. I hate to say it is what it is, because it shouldn't be as what it is. It's just a bad situation. Anyway, my brother, we are kind of at the end of another fabulous show. Time kind of goes by so fast.
Yes, it does.
And we definitely want to, thank again all of our viewing and listening audience. Again, if you want to come on down, please feel free to contact us. So then, therefore, you can do so. If you want us to kind of bring the show to you, we can definitely do that as well. Again, this is a platform grassroots campaign, for Joseph Banks, as he is seeking candidacy for Hennepin County Sheriff. But again, he cannot do this alone. He has to have your involvement. It is imperative that you get involved. So then, therefore, as we move forward, because the culture of law enforcement is extremely thick. And these changes that we're asking for, that we're requesting, that we are demanding, is not going to happen overnight. But you have to have individuals such as Joseph Banks, such as Ramsey County Sheriff, what's his name?
Bob Fletcher.
Bob Fletcher, and a couple of others, be able to stand up and admit when things are wrong. And even prior to things being wrong, being able to provide the necessary training to ensure that we, the people, the citizens, obtain and receive the adequate service that we so desire and deserve. Because every encounter does not have to be an arrestable offense. Again, is this an arrestable offense or a teachable moment? And there's so many encounters that we have that's more of a teachable moment than it is arrestable offense. Now, I will also say this here. We also have to discontinue teaching our young folks to not cooperate with the police. We got to discontinue, this attitude, that we're having. And I understand, that that's on both sides of the coin. The police need to discontinue with their attitude. They need to discontinue with their biases. And, but again, as long as we continue to point fingers at each other and push blame on each other, we're going to continue to have the same type of outcome, and with individuals like Joseph Banks and Bob Fletcher, and individuals like myself, I really believe that we can make a difference.
Oh, yes, we definitely can. With the help of the community and that collaborative effort, with your voice, we're going to make a difference to make those changes. Remember, you can reach me at banksforsheriff.com. That's BANKS 4sheriff.com. You can reach me at joelawman@hotmail.com. That's JOELAWMAN@hotmail.com, or 763-221-4724. Again, 763-221-4724. Find out who I am. Check on my page, see what we're about, what we're trying to do. Join our campaign. Like Beek said, this is a grassroots campaign, so any volunteer, donation work, we could use your help to keep getting the word out, keep pushing our platform into the community so that we can get, come November 8th, we can get me elected as the Hennepin County Sheriff. Remember, I can't do it without you. We have to do it together. Make sure that you register to vote in your community so that you can go down to your local poll and post your vote.
Absolutely. And I just want to quickly say, thank you to, the Independent Party for their support and their backing of you. I really believe that they selected the right candidate in doing so. So again, thank you. We will definitely be out tonight at a community forum at 6 p.m., 701 West Broadway, in Minneapolis. That is at the Cub. That is at the Cub on Broadway in Lindale. They have a community room inside the store. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend as I originally planned. There's some other Westport, things that I have to take care of tonight, which is at the exact same time, which just kind of fell in my lap. But, again, your candidate, Joseph Banks, will be in the house holding things down, answering questions, representing, doing all that good stuff. So please, if you're not doing anything, between 6 and 7, 6 and 7:30, whatever it's going to be, stop on down to the community forum, 701 West Broadway, and meet your future sheriff, Joseph Banks. With that being said, I'm Antoine Beeks. And I have a security company, WSC Protective Agency. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, pertaining to security, give me a call, 612-978-6066. Again, 612-978-6066. We have an array of different services that we're able to provide you with really reasonable prices. Honestly, I've been doing this for so long. I know that I have a blueprint, that can fit everyone's security or safety needs. You just have to basically be willing to invest, in whatever it is that you're building or have built in order for you to protect your assets. I'm also a firearms instructor. So if you guys are out there looking for just to get kind of familiar with weapons and learning how to shoot, I have a familiarizational class for those with little or no shooting experience. I have the permit to carry. Obviously, that's a pass or fail class. And then I also have those that are being recertified. Hit me up, 612-702-9849. Again, 612-702-9849. And I can definitely take care of you on that end. If you have a group, or staff or whatever the case may be that needs to be trained in Narcan, please give me a call. I am also a Narcan instructor. I can definitely take you through the necessary training to become, Narcan certified or to be to administer Narcan appropriately. So again, there's just various resources, services that we offer to you, the community, and more. But again, we cannot do this without you. We greatly appreciate, again, our viewing and listening audience, the support, et cetera, et cetera. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Joe so we can kind of go ahead and close this out with that backpack.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're here every week from 4 to 5. Make sure you chime in, get to know us, come out, have a conversation with us, talk about what's happening in your community. Like Beat said, join us over at the forum at 6 p.m., 701 West Broadway in North Minneapolis. Now, with that being said, it's been a great, great, great show as always. And we start milling in our show with that backpack. So we're going to hit you with the backpack one more time before we get out of here. Make sure that you got your driver's license and insurance with you before you get in that vehicle. Make sure you place it above the visor so it's easily accessible and won't be confused by law enforcement as a weapon. Make sure you stay calm, keep your hands where they can be seen, allow the officer to go through his spiel, and as always, make it home to your loved ones. Same thing when you're walking down the street. Make sure you got your driver's license and insurance, driver's license or ID with you. Make sure it's easily accessible. Keep your hands where they can be seen, stay calm, and as always, make it home to your loved ones. One quick little homework assignment for everybody out there in the listening audience. Make sure that you knock on your neighbor's door and get to know your neighbor this week. Find out who lives next to you. Be a part of your community and show each other that love. With that being said, I'm Joe Banks.
And I'm Antoine Beeks.
And we just talked about it.
Peace.